Outstanding offense, defensive deficiencies all over the place. Mark Rogers TV, just a few minutes after the red and white Nebraska spring football game for 2013. Just about 60,000 of the Husker faithful showed up in Lincoln to cheer on the Huskers and watch tons of offense. Skill, speed, options on offense all over the place. Starting at quarterback in Taylor Martinez. Never an accomplished passer, he's worked so hard to improve the footwork and the passing technique. 62% last fall, 8 of 10 in the spring game, 23 touchdowns through the air last fall. Still throws too many to the opposition with 12 picks. But, of course, Taylor Martinez makes his money on the ground. 1,000 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. So difficult to contain in the pocket. He, of course, stays as the starter. The backup is a battle, and it appears as though the front runner right now is Tommy Armstrong Jr. After the game, Bo Pelini said of Armstrong Jr. that he's a natural leader. He has leadership capabilities, and he runs the offense very well in practice. He understands the offense, but like Martinez a couple years ago, his technique in the pocket is not good. He needs to work on the fundamentals of throwing the football. Okay, regardless of the quarterback, there are options, skill options all over the place. You know the stars. Wide receiver Kenny Bell, an all Big Ten performer with 50 receptions and 8 touchdowns. We've got him listed as one of our top 10 wide receivers coming back to college football in 2013. A couple other guys here. We've got Quincy Anunwa, who caught 42 last season with 1 touchdown, and also Jamal Turner, 32 receptions and 3 touchdowns. And as Martinez gets better as a passer, those numbers should go up as well. At running back, to supplement the production of Ameer Abdullah, you've got this guy, Imani Cross, who ran 7 times in the spring game for 55 yards. Last season, 324 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns for the Huskers. And also, remember this name, and it's difficult to forget it, King Frazier. King Frazier ran for 64 yards in the spring game, and he's a redshirt freshman with loads of talent. We go back to wide receiver and also mention a guy with loads of talent, a guy that Bo Pelini says needs to be consistent. He could be a star, but he has to bring it every day, and that's Alonzo Moore, redshirt freshman. The offensive linemen, some are missing from last season's squad. Some are coming back. That's going to be key, but because, of course, the Huskers have to run the football to be successful, and they were the 8th best rushing offense in college football with 253 yards per game in 2012. Okay, we get to the defense where what's going on with the black shirts? We know the tradition, and we know that when Ndamukong Suh left campus a few years ago that this defense was dominant. They held a Texas Colt McCoy offense to 10 or 12 points in a Big 12 championship game, but they have fallen flat since, and the numbers last season were horrific. 70 points given up to Wisconsin in the Big 10 championship game, 63 to Ohio State, of course 45 in the bowl game to Georgia, and 36 to UCLA. The yardage figures are even more ridiculous. UCLA ran up 653 yards of total offense. Of course, we know that Wisconsin didn't even have to throw the football in the Big Ten championship game. They had 500 rushing, 640 total. Ohio State at 500 and Georgia at 589. 8 starters come back for Nebraska, but they're not very good. The defense is not good. We do not expect it to be much better. We've identified a few guys who stepped up in the spring game who need to step up even further and fill some gaps and maybe some starting roles for the Nebraska defense here. We've got linebacker Trevor Roach, a junior this fall, who last fall just had 5 tackles, but in the spring game today had 10 total tackles for Nebraska. Thomas Brown is probably the most talented of the guys we're going to mention, a redshirt freshman. So, of course, he didn't see the field, but in the spring game, he made his presence known with 2 tackles for loss and a sack. That's Thomas Brown at linebacker, and also safety Corey Cooper, who had 17 total tackles as a sophomore in 2012. Today in the spring game had 6 tackles. This Nebraska defense was woeful last season, slow, did not tackle and wrap up people, and Bo Pelini has to be going crazy as an old defensive coach. It will not get easier for Nebraska in terms of defensive play against some top offenses coming back in 2013, most notably in the non-conference schedule, UCLA and San Diego State. The Buckeyes are off the schedule for Nebraska in 2013 as they make a bid to get back to Indianapolis to make amends for a Big Ten championship loss to Wisconsin in 2013. That's what we've got on Nebraska. Need to hear from Husker fans who really know their team right here on Mark Rogers TV.